I've finally been making some time to work on my sketching of people. Now, a lot of it's been ugly, a lot of it's been messy, and it's all been a lot of fun. In fact, it's been a bit of a game changer. And in this video, I'll show you how I've been studying and learning from other artists and incorporating that confidence, those ideas into my own style. Now, this whole process starts with a bit of research, because what I want to do is inform my style and learn from artists I admire. For me, that meant buying a small library of books. Not actually that small. Things from artists like Cober, Felix Scheineberger, Gerald, Scarfe, Searle, a different array of fairly cartoony artists I sort of started realising, which is already a hint into the style that we're going to try and develop, or that I'm going to try and develop. Now, of course, we could just sit and read these books, and they are beautiful and wonderful and fascinating. And then I would learn that all the artists I like, which is great, but it's not what I'm here for. I'm here to improve drawing my people. So I'm going to copy them. And that, I can imagine being controversial. No, not controversial. It is in fact a very well recognised way of learning, which has been done for hundreds of years. If you'd like to debate it further in the comments, go for it. Just don't sell or profiteer or claim when you copy that it's your work, because creatively it's not. Step one, though, not copying full scenes, is to break it down. Ways to look back and understand ways I could approach different subjects. So, eyes first. Now, it's amazing what you can learn when you start focusing down. Because when we're copying out a whole scene, we might just copy out the lines, but here, breaking it down, we start to pick out the unique quirks, the way that little features are built, the way that lines are built. Are they intentional? Are they accidental? We start to see all of those things. So cool. Just so cool. One day. So far I've just studied eyes, but I already feel like I'm learning a lot. So there are aspects I found in Felix Scheineberger's work where I love what he's done and the vision, but I'm finding copying out his stuff, it's too crude for what I want to achieve. I love the art, it doesn't feel right for me to do. Then I've got two amazing artists, Stedman and Scarfe, who both have this like vicious caricature style. What I've discovered is when they loosen up, then not only do I love what they do, but I also love doing it. And there's cleverness in their marks and their simplicity. My favourite so far has been finding stuff from Cober's work. Not everything is for me, but there's something in the delicacy and the reality of his marks which I really enjoy. Somewhere between those three, though, is the eyes I want to make, because Cober's is probably too delicate. I like having a few of those bold lines in, and I like some of the abstract cartooning which comes from the other guys. Anyway, eyes, tick. I'm going to keep going though. And now to continue the process with hands, noses, ears. Maybe not do every single feature all in one day. In fact, I split this over a couple of days, and I've secretly been doing this for a couple of months, just whenever I get the time. The key is to go beyond the simple, how can I draw a hand better, and try and each time gain a small insight into how it's been achieved, what the artist that you enjoy has done to achieve whatever they have done on the page. So if I just take a little moment to point something out that I've sort of started discovering. I'm drawing these hands. The lines are kind of rubbish. They're not rubbish. They're what I would think of rubbish if they were my lines. But they're kind of wonky. The overlaps don't quite make sense. There's something really magic in that though. There is something in just capturing the hands and them not quite being right, which I'm really enjoying. Again, I find little things which make me happy. Look at that hand. It's great. Kind of out of proportion and great. So this hand, which is by Scarfe, is absolutely amazing because there's simultaneously this, look at this thumb. It's got a really close examination of the anatomy. Every kind of joint, not in my version necessarily, but every joint in that version is in the right place. We've got the centre of the palm, and yet the proportions are a bit weird. Wouldn't have been something I would allow myself to do without this kind of permission of all these amazing artists. Now, if there's one thing I am learning from this process, and learning kind of like big time, well, it's not really learning so much as remembering, is that I should do this more often. It's really engaging. Not copying, but thinking. Copying and thinking. Kind of having these mini revelations every couple of minutes. This is the key. I would really love to encourage you all to do this with whatever subject. Now that might be windows, chimneys, roofs for urban sketching. It might be a variety of trees for landscapes. It's the kind of thing you can do in a relaxed space at home, sat on the chair.
It was at this moment that he knew. He f***ed up.
Sometimes I do wish I had a space I could draw and relax, away from the studio where everything can feel like work. Perhaps downstairs, not on my kitchen table where I'm fighting the salt and pepper, but looking out into our garden. Oh, what's that over there? No, not that. Hello, Betty. That. It seems to be some kind of wooden drawing desk with a little stool. I wonder how that got there. Okay, so yeah, I've already been using that desk in this video, but I needed some clever way to segue into saying thank you to Meaden for sending me the desk. I've got a couple of their easels already, which I've always been really impressed by the construction of their stuff. I'm really impressed by the drawing desk. It's got a kind of compact frame, but a really large working area. You can tilt it so you can work at different angles. And the stool's a simple, sturdy stool, which tucks away and doesn't take up too much room either down here or in my studio. They're running a sale at the moment as well. You can check out the details of that down below. And I list a few of their things which I use, which I genuinely enjoy using, on my website. Now, enough of this coddle-waddle, smudge-fudge nonsense. Let's get back to people. The next step is to build scenes, because although my practice, my pages have given me a really interesting insight into light lines, bold lines, and how individual features are built separately, I'd love to know more about the use of space, about how to put scenery around, build a background, how are proportions dealt with, because I can tell you that the proportions these guys use are not usually very realistic. Now, the key learning points I got from this are airy simplicity. There's a real focus in all the art that I like from these guys on quite fine lines, a couple of bold lines, and a lot of space. And that allows a build-up of detail or contrast around the face often, not always, but often the face, to really draw the eye. And I think I've been guilty of trying to do too much everywhere. The other thing I notice in that simplicity is they'll draw the face and they will draw hands, maybe feet sometimes, but not much else. Not really building a whole character, leaving quite a lot to the imagination. And the proportions, caricature-y. I think I'm allowed to call this a caricature, but it's cool. Definitely caricature-y. Big noses or like oversimplified eyes. Now, in doing this as well, I've been trying to move beyond just copying and injecting something of my own style. And I think I'm grasping that. But the next step is to put away those books and just create a couple of scenes of my own. Because now is the moment of truth. Can all of this hard work over the last few days translate into me suddenly becoming a professional cartoonist? No, probably not. But can I find something I really enjoy and take on some of these ideas? Probably. So yes, this is another continuity error of a jumper, but that is because I've done this video over several days of filming and actually several weeks of doing stuff. And I wanted to share a couple more revelations from the book. Now it takes a while to flick through this book to find something YouTube appropriate, so bear with me. A lot of it is not safe for work. Portraits and people are rarely that exciting straight on. There are exceptions, but normally they're drawn slightly to the side and often not the entire of the person. Cutting off legs, for example. Look at the space. Again, the whole person not included. This dramatic space and simplicity, and just a little bit of context with a simple background. I wanted to add this one in because again, look, massive asymmetry, big person. Not all of them drawn in. Feet aren't there. And despite the intricacy here, there's so much space on the page. So the question for this Toby is, how can I take those things and remember them as I create my sketch, my little sketch to demonstrate my progression? Firstly, we have choice of scene. So someone, ideally not looking entirely straight on, with some kind of context. That's what we have here. Next we need space. 2 pages of my sketchbook. Probably just going to use one, but it's a big old sketchbook. And then fine lines. I've got a 0.1mm fine liner as a starting point. Now here's a lesson learnt for me. Actually, this Toby, this figure, is still facing us too much. So I didn't find this sketch super easy or super compelling. Although I liked quite a lot which went on when I added the bold lines, I also added too many bold lines and I lost that sense of fun. If you want to see the full version of this sketch, then there's a members only video on YouTube and Patreon, which has both the full version of this and some extra snippets and things throughout the video. But otherwise, with that warm-up complete, I thought I'd have another go. So here we go, another young dashing gentleman looking slightly off-centre, not at the camera, fine lines, preparing for space by positioning his head off to the left of the page, not in the centre. Hopefully a little bit of improvement on the first one where I went a little too central and perhaps the reference wasn't 100% the best choice. Here, focusing on some of the sort of context of the face, some of the specific features, and not worrying if I'm caricaturing a little bit. That is part of the style I really enjoy, so perhaps it's something I should develop. The face can have dark marks and hatching, so for my beard, there we go, we can build up some of that already. Everything else, the clothes, the background is minimal except the hands. A little bit of focus here, a little bit of spidery fun with the fine lines, just getting the idea. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect, doesn't matter if it's a bit weird. The idea, the complexity is what we're after. Same then with the left hand, joined to the body by a wish and a hope in this instance. And then we can move on to the context. Now, if you're an artist and you have watercolours, you probably love drawing them. Really fun. So let's get the idea of this sort of set of watercolours, the dipper, all in there. That's a lovely bit of context. Similarly, my rucksack, it's sort of quite a fun thing to draw. A soft box, interesting shapes, and it kind of sits in the right place for that contextual positioning, that contextual mark that I'm after. And we don't need much else, do we? Not much else, but maybe a suggestion of flowers, a couple of vertical lines. And look what happens when we add some boldness this time. Far more delicate about it not bringing bold lines everywhere. And this time I really achieved that focus, that real focus on the face, and I can sign my name again. So there you go. I've mastered people. Wonder what else I should do with my life now. So obviously not, but I had fun. And I think this is a really good way of learning, especially with those more sort of complex and stylized subjects like people. Let me know how you get on with it, and let me know in the comments below other artists I should check out, apart from these quite famous ones I've picked on. Thanks again to Meaden. If you want some studio furniture, use my code SKETCHLOOSE. It will do you well. And you might have noticed I snuck in my book. That's being released on the 23rd of October. Links down below.